Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efeni, the great Malabite.
Good morning, Ruben.
Morning.
Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Ayo.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, you just returned from Calabar. your city, where you have the keys to the city. Yes, I'm sure that Professor Ben Ayade will still be ruminating over that interview. But he made his point. He made his projected his achievement. It's not a fight. You ask questions, you answer, Prof. And I'm sure your handlers will tell you that you did not do badly. But we are not here to quarrel with anybody. We ask questions and we expect answers. And it's the job we have been paid to do, Prof. Now, we start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. I will start with the lead story. How Jibril brokered Tinubu Kwankwaso meeting in France. Ex-governor may join government of national unity. President-elect allegedly proposes reconciling Ganduje predecessor. Yes, of course, the details of the meeting on Monday between the presidential candidate of the NNPP, New Nigerian People's Party, Dr. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, and the president-elect, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The sketchy details, but all point to the fact that there's some rapprochement on the side of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to see how he can calm things down, because as it stands, even given the closeness of the result of the presidential election, it means he has to do more than just waiting for inauguration day to ensure that the legitimacy is not questioned by people who lost and indeed are still contesting that election at the Presidential Election Tribunal. Now, of course, when you juxtapose that with the recent meeting by a delegation of Lagos State elders who are mainly of the APC ilk to Lagos PDP elder statesman stalwart Chief Bode George, then you see that the Tinubu camp seem to be reaching out. But as other newspapers are also reporting this story, the Daily Trust newspaper reporting this story, real reasons Tinubu met with Kwankwaso ex-Emir Sanusi in Paris, offers NNPP leader ministerial position, urges consultations as former Kano governor converses with ex-CBN governor. Talking about, Dr. Musa Rabiu Kwankwaso also having that deliberation with former CBN governor, former Emir of Kano, Lamido Sanusi. Now, it's going to be, Kano is the hotbed, and given pronouncement already made by, credited to Kwankwaso, that the issue of the removal of the then Emir of Kano will be revisited. That was done by the government of, the outgoing government of Ganduje. Perhaps the need to soften things before that snowballs, because the incoming governor is of course an acolyte of the presidential candidate of the NNPP. But now, with the offer of ministerial appointment being touted here, will Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso go and take up a ministerial appointment in the next government? Would that be a promotion? Because here was a man who said, when he was asked by political watchers whether he will join Mr. Peter Obi, they can pull their resources together, pull forces together for the presidential election. And of course, it was stated then that by some of his aides and supporters that is too big to be running mate to Peter Obi. If they had won, he would have been, if you had taken that offer, put resources together, and they won the election, that would have been the vice president of Nigeria. So if that position is too small for him, I don't see how a ministerial position will suit or assuage any feeling. But perhaps if he's given the offer, he will just nominate somebody from his camp to be part of the government. Well, we just look at other stories also on the front page of this day. BBC investigations, like Premium Times show, Obi, not Tinubu won in Rivers, contrary to Wike's loud claims. Results from IREV in Rivers alone may not have altered outcome of presidential poll. Yes, the BBC report, Premium Times had done a similar report earlier, but I'm sure this is not news to the Peter Obi camp because this is part of what perhaps they are putting forward at the Presidential Election Tribunal to stake their claim that indeed Peter Obi won the presidential election. But that matter will be decided by the justices at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, and may just go all the way, expectedly, to the Supreme Court before we can bring closure to the issue of who won and who did not win the presidential election. But for now, we have the president-elect, barring any unforeseen circumstance, will be sworn in on May 29, few days from now. Now, if we look at other stories, yes, other newspapers, of course, the Nation newspaper, what Tinubu should do on security by IG, DSS, NSA. Soludo Uzodinma canvass state police synergy. Sanwo-Olu, governors must be accessible. Yes, the measures, youth, engagement, security, architecture, rejig, enhanced funding, non-kinetic approach. Of course, security is a major issue that will engage the attention of the president-elect from day one. Because, as we have seen in the last 8 years, despite all the confidence put on President Muhammadu Buhari as a former military man who will just take care of the security situation, we know better. Insecurity is more widespread in the country than in 2015. Yes, easy to point that the Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast has been contained substantially. No doubt about that. Kudos to the military that have done a good job. But the fact is that insecurity is widespread in the country today than in 2015. Now, the Vanguard newspaper, federal government incurs 36.8 trillion deficit in 8 years under Buhari, records 32 trillion naira revenue, spends 68 trillion naira, 77% of deficit incurred in the last 4 years. Now, the jury is out. One of the things the president promised to deal with, the economy. Of course, all indices pointing to the fact that, well, the president has not done a great job. Yeah, but he said he has done his best. The baton will now be passed on to the next president, whom Nigerians expect to do better than the Buhari administration. The good thing is that it's the same political party, APC. So to say that, oh, we did not know that the condition was this bad, will not be an excuse that will make the front pages when the next government takes over on May 29. Now, of course, below the photograph in the Vanguard newspaper, 4 U.S. embassy staff killed in Anambra. Embassy staff came under attack by gunmen in Ogbaru area of Anambra State. Yes, it's dangerous traveling our roads. This is another indication that insecurity is widespread. But these U.S. staff are not Americans. For clarity, they are Nigerian staff of the U.S. Embassy. Two of them include are policemen who were also protecting those two other staff. But it's unfortunate that we hear this kind of killings. So when we hear warning from the U.S. Embassy to Americans in Nigeria not to go to certain areas of the country of Nigeria, well, we cannot be too patriotic by condemning the Americans, because they also have their intelligence about the security situation in the country. Now, the Punch newspaper, strike, doctors shun talks, medical tourism gulps, $3 billion in 3 years. Resident doctors rejecting against peace moves, decry health sector brain drain. Yes, the president of the country in 8 years has not been able to scratch this issue of medical tourism on the surface. The president started by going to the UK in the early part of his administration. Spent a long time taking care of his health. One would have thought that is enough to jolt any leader to ensure that there is better healthcare facilities in the country, so that those who are not opportune to be taken care of by government can have health facilities in Nigeria. But, of course, we know better. The last trip, the president just returned yesterday to see a dentist. I'm sure the Nigerian Association of Dentists will not be happy that none of them trained in this country, some trained abroad, practicing here, are good enough to look at the teeth of the president of Nigeria. Now, just the Guardian newspaper, World Hypertension Day, pressure, lifestyle, increase high BP among Nigerian youths. Hypertension, a silent killer. Everybody out there, please check your BP and take another look at your lifestyle, because some of these things are caused by lifestyle and, of course, the pressure in the environment. Ruben, Rufai, and Ayo.
Well, very quickly, I find the story on hypertension really interesting, because you call it the silent killer. Many people, they have high blood pressure, they don't even
know about it.
The lesson of it is that you have to check your blood pressure on a regular basis. But one thing I find interesting in the story, at page 11 of today's Guardian.
The Guardian newspaper.
We're told spending more time on mobile phone raises risk of having hypertension, new study finds. Well, I hope that's backed by science, because a lot of people spend a lot of time on phones. And then very quickly, another funny thing I saw in the papers, the anointed Senate president to be and his deputy and 41 other senators went to the party secretariat yesterday
to see the APC chairman.
And the APC chairman told them that, look, on the day of inauguration, make sure you arrive early, so that what happened in 2015 would not happen to you.
Ruben,
in fact, I want to add to Senator Adamu's suggestion that Akpabio and Abbas, they should go and sleep there.
They should move.
No, they should come there. They should sleep overnight at the National Assembly. So that once it is 1 a.m., they will just go and stand.
What it tells you is that although Akpabio has been anointed by the party hierarchy, it is not sealed, signed. It will only be delivered on the floor of the National Assembly.
The more reason they should sleep there overnight. They should go there with mattress and sleep and camp there overnight, so that what happened in 2015 does not repeat itself. The chairman told them, once beaten, twice shy.
I hope you are listening to what I'm saying. I hope you heard me clearly. You had to emphasize it.
Thank you very much, Ifeni. Nigeria, now cruise, as they say.